Internet, I'm back. Now, the new season of Animaniacs came out today, and so I thought it would be a perfect time to play that game on the Sega Genesis, and it would just be a fun little playthrough and kind of tie in and all that. However, a different game came out today as well that I actually somehow forgot about for a while, and so I'm going to play that instead. Okay, so that new game is, as you just saw from the title card, so surprise ruined, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. This, I don't know how to feel about this. Now, I loved Hyrule Warriors, I actually have so many versions of this game for no reason. I have it on the Wii U, and the 3DS, and the Switch, and I also imported a couple special editions because they had cool stuff in them, so I have a lot of copies of that game. I love that game. I've actually loved Musou games ever since Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, Jade Empire, that kind of stuff way back when. There was a Guilty Gear game that was in that style at one point that I have on the 360. I forget the name, but that was amazing. Basically, anything done in that style, that kind of gameplay, I'm a huge fan of. And Zelda has always been my favorite franchise, so everything about that game just worked for me. It was the perfect combination of everything. However, the one Zelda that I've been vocally outspoken against, even more so than the CDI games, which unmaintained weren't as terrible as people say.
It is written, only Link can defeat Ganon. Great, I'll grab my stuff!
Was this one, Breath of the Wild. Shut up. I know it was groundbreaking, it was a big deal, it was the first truly open world Zelda, it was massive. And don't get me wrong, from a game standpoint, technically, it is amazing. They accomplished a lot. They did a bunch of new things that they hadn't done before. The music was sparse at times, but very good. My problem was it didn't feel like Zelda. It didn't have enough of the elements to feel like a Zelda game. Personally, to me, Hyrule Warriors felt more like a Zelda than this did. Plus, the art style was the biggest thing for me. Just the cel-shaded thing that they do, I don't like it. I can never get behind it. It doesn't feel right to me. Zelda, I want more like Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess, especially. Just that cool, gritty, 3D, like that feel. That's what I'm looking for. And this just, it didn't do that. So, back to the game of the hour, Age of Calamity. It is the sequel to Hyrule Warriors, yes, but it is also basically Breath of the Wild 1.5. This serves as the, I don't know what you call it, the interquel, the game between Breath of the Wild and the upcoming Breath of the Wild 2. So, with that in mind, I'm going to play it and see if I love it as much as the first one, and see if I like it more than Breath of the Wild, and maybe it can make me come around to Breath of the Wild 2. So, without more rambling, because there's already been way too much, here we go. Of course I want normal. I'm a casual. Okay, so right off the bat, I should say this is my first time even starting up the game. It literally came in earlier today, and I've been staring at the box most of the day. I put it in the console to install the game earlier on so I'd be ready, but I have not started up, I have not played it, I have not read any reviews about it yet. Actually, that's not true. I read one that claimed to be spoiler-free, and the writer spent the entire time bitching about how this game did not feel like a Zelda game. It's not supposed to, it's Hyrule Warriors. That's why it says Hyrule Warriors in the title and not Legend of Zelda. It's supposed to feel more like Dynasty Warriors in a Musou style game. That's the point. So aside from that idiotic review, I haven't read anything else. I know nothing about the story, or what characters they did what they did or did not include. Yeah, kind of going in blind. I'm also talking over the intro because I'm bad at enjoying cutscenes. Usually I love cutscenes. I'm just ruining this one for myself. But it's a much more entertaining video if I'm saying things and we're not all just staring at a screen silently together. That's weird. It's like those terrible React videos where people are like, I'm gonna react! And then they just watch something in its entirety with no commentary, and then afterwards they're like, oh, yeah, I like that. Like, it's not a React video, you're just cheating the copyright system. So I'm not going to do that. Anywho, are we going to get a baby version of one of those? How do they have babies? They're machines. Why is there a baby version? Also, if there's stuff in here that's explained in Breath of the Wild, I might not get it. I'm not going to lie. Didn't finish the game. I played a bunch, but I didn't finish it. I didn't complete it at all. I vaguely know who the Guardians are, the main characters that I believe we're going to play as in this game, but like I haven't seen their storylines unfold. I didn't even get far enough to encounter most of them. So this will be an experience. I'm kind of going in as a noob, even though I love Zelda. I will say already, I'm loving the music of this one. I'm getting just the hints of familiar themes in the background, and I'm a big fan of that. And I say that, but my sound system is actually turned way down, so it won't overpower the camera or my talking. But from what I can hear, it's great. Speaking of great music, while I have more time to kill, because this is the eternal cutscene, Game Chops and Michael, I don't know if that's how he says it, Kel, I don't know, it's M-I-K-E-M, whatever. He just put out a Zelda and Chill 2, which is like a lo-fi kind of chill beat remix of a bunch of Zelda songs. And they're releasing it on vinyl. And I think you can still sign up to get the vinyl. I don't think the thing's done yet. So just go order one, because it's pretty awesome. It's a cool thing to have. And the music's really good. If nothing else, he did a remix of Telltale Heights, and that's the best Zelda song. Come at me, you're wrong. Telltale Heights is the best. Unless you're saying the temple theme from Zelda 2, I'll accept that that's your favorite. Mine is still Telltale Heights, but that one's, I'd say, equally as good. So if you prefer it, acceptable. But everything else, I'm sorry. It's not as good. But I think the game's going to talk now, so I'll shut up.
In our long history, we have scarcely faced a threat of this magnitude. The years have passed.
I mean, that's not true. I feel like in all of Hyrule's history, they've faced a threat of that magnitude. That's basically all Hyrule is. It's a gigantic, world-threatening war every 100 years. Is it 100 or 1,000? How often does Link reappear? I think it's 100. I might be wrong. It might be 1,000. I do wonder too, like, I know the world resets every time, but how come sometimes, like, the supporting characters and the magic that exists in the world, that changes every time too, which I feel is weird. Like, I know Link's Awakening doesn't count from Zelda, which, cop out. But for everything else, like, sometimes there's sorcerers and magic fairies and all kinds of stuff, and other times there's not. Okay, the controls are different. That's new. So they revamped the weapons a little. You don't need to tell me how to play Dark Souls. I got this. See, I will say, because it is a sequel, they really should have just left the controls the same as they were last time. What the hell is that? Okay, that's a different control. And when I say they should have left the controls the same as they were, I actually mean they should have left, like, each individual character's attacks. For example, before with Link, if you did an attack like that where you did 3 regular attacks and then a strong one, he did kind of like that spinning blade attack there, but it was slightly different. And then if you did 4, he would charge with a shield and knock over to the right. Like, you remember the movesets after a while. If you played Hyrule Warriors as much as I have, which is way too much, you remember all the movesets. So it's just odd that they would change them. Especially for, like, a character like Link that's repeating. I know a lot of the other characters are going to be new, and so those ones you expect to change, but Link has always been Link, and he's still using a sword and shield like he did in the other one, so why change it? It ain't broke. But aside from him and Zelda, I think most of the characters in here are going to be new. Like, none of the other Breath of the Wild characters ever made it in the game before, so I'll be curious to see how they all play. Why can I not lock on? Can you just hurry up and unlock that feature so I can actually... Wait, right trigger is not the lock on button. What are you doing? See, you're messing with something.
Sure.
Also, his weak gauge didn't even go down. You didn't have a chance to kill him! You killed people. What are you doing? I don't want to heal. I don't need to heal. I'm fine. There, I did it. Okay. Make the pop. Oh, the outposts are not as noticeable on the map, actually. I will say they were... You know, this map looks monumentally bigger than some of the ones in the other game. Maybe not all of them, because like the ones that were added to the Switch version, and like actually they might have been DLC in the other version too. They were pretty big. Like the Wind Waker maps that we got, they were considerable. But this one is pretty massive. However, they do make the keeps a lot less obvious. This little square that I'm in right now in the old game, and I'll probably put a picture up if I can find one. But the keeps on your map, they're just really easy to notice. Okay, fine. I'm guarding. Can we stop with the prompts? There, I dodged. I didn't dodge it. Jeebus, that took forever. I've been playing the other game for so long, I'm used to being super overpowered. I play as Minda because she's the best, and her level and everything is entirely maxed out, so this feels like backward progress. What am I doing? Why? Go the correct direction, please. Oh, okay. I thought they were going to hit me back. Okay, so it has items you can pick up, so I'm assuming it still has the, not necessarily crafting, but how, like, you use items to get your badges. You know, that was the wrong time to use that. Facing the wall. Good job, me. Who just threw an apple? That's the least effective attack. Hey, here's something helpful that will heal you, enemy. I hope this doesn't turn against me. I will say, so far, aside from the tutorial prompts, like when I'm picking up items and stuff, it seems to be less obtrusive. Like, it's less in my face, it doesn't take up as much of the screen. And I don't have to stop and watch a cutscene every time I open a chest, which, praise be to Jeebus for that one. That is one of the most obnoxious parts of the original game. So far, I'm liking it. The controls are a little different. I gotta get used to that. Lock on is not left shoulder anymore, and it should be. That was convenient and easy, and I want that back. But yeah, so far so good. I still don't see where this comes in. Like again, this might be something from Breath of the Wild that I'm just missing, because it's possible that I missed something. But it looks like one of those giant robot things had a baby, and that doesn't make sense. That's Impa? That does not look like Impa.
Help!
And why would Impa be a weakling? Impa, like, kicks all the ass. She's like the royal guard that beats up everyone on Zelda's path. She should not be like, oh, I need help from a big strong man. Oh, did he just Naruto run? Why? Ew. Nintendo, no. 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 I forgot where to look. I looked at the laptop and yeah. But don't do that. That's not okay. Don't. Humans don't run with their arms back. You're not. Don't. Oh, it's a tower. I thought it was going to be a boss fight. I was really excited. I'm like, okay, that's a massive boss fight. That's exciting. But no, it's just a tower. So is this going to have more like adventure elements then, I wonder? Because in the Musou games, you really, like, aside from the occasional cutscene, you almost entirely just run around the map and murder things. So if this is actually going to have me like climbing towers and stuff, that's kind of interesting. But no, that's just decorational, so never mind. Nice thought, me, but no. Murder all the things. I have bombs now. Oh. Okay, well, I could do that now, that's a thing. Oh, the little, when the apple was thrown at me, it wasn't thrown at me. It looks like my stuff from killing people just, yeah, it gets shot in my direction. Gotcha. Okay. That's cool. When Hyrule Warriors first came out, it had this huge problem where the items that were dropped when you killed things, they dropped on the ground, just like in little bags, but you had to go pick them up, like manually. You had to hunt down each one and grab it. If you did not, you lost that item. And this was major because, you know, you use these items to upgrade your weapons and your character and to do things. Like, it's important that you have them. What are you doing? Okay, fine. Throw a bomb. Great. And then my sound will cut out because my sound system is garbage. But yeah, no, it had this issue where it didn't pick up items automatically. And you could easily complete a level and have all sorts of items available, but because you forgot to go and pick up that individual item, it would be gone. And that sucks. Like that you can do a wall jump, that's kind of fun. I don't know how that would be useful, but it's fun. And then when they redid Hyrule Warriors, I'm sorry, I'm on 5 trains of thought right now. When they redid it for the 3DS and then later for the Switch, they added the ability to have items automatically collected at the end of the level. So if you wanted to pick it up right away, you could, but if you didn't, then it would still be there at the end of the level when you completed and it gave you a result screen and everything would be tallied up. However, that one didn't have items like this where you pick up those little apples and stuff that you use, like that you would use as an item. It had like heart pieces and then things to charge your energy and also things to charge your magic gauge. Those existed, and it looks like they have stuff similar to that now. But it didn't have like a consumable item like the apple I picked up that I can use to heal. So that's a new feature. And a relatively interesting one. I'm going to throw bombs again because that's fun. I'm learning how to do this. I will say though, they all have like pots and stuff that you can destroy. This one doesn't appear to be doing that at all. And I want to have destructible environments. It's fun. Oh, lock on being a right trigger sucks. It's not handy. Like if you have like a quick feature like that you're going to use often, it should be an easy to use button. Pushing in the right stick is not easy because people don't generally use the right stick. Like in a game like this where you're using the 4 buttons, the YBXA, your thumb is busy using the buttons. You're not ever hovering over the stick. So that was just a terrible decision on my part. So yeah, whoever made that call, you're wrong. Don't be in charge of decisions anymore. You make bad ones. Ooh, Israel. Where is he? He's not where I just was. Oh, he's way up there again. control schemes stay the same. Up and down changes to persons. I don't know why I said persons and not people. Apparently I've forgotten how words work. That's cute. Okay, well, the art style didn't bother me as much, but that looks weird. Okay, what is happening? I'm forgetting what my controller looks like. There we go. I don't know what that was. That was such a complicated control scheme. Holy cow. I had to hit like a thing, and then I went like, this feels like a quick time event. If you're not familiar with these games, and this is your first introduction to either of them, do the first one if you want less complicated controls. That was a lot, and the first one doesn't have any of that nonsense. You just hit Y a whole bunch, and then X sometimes. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do. I don't know what all this stuff is. Left shoulder and Y. Okay. Cool. I have a fire orb. Or fire one. That's fine. I don't care. Just don't make it more complicated. It's not what Musou games are. You're supposed to just mow down literally thousands of enemies with very little difficulty, and then occasionally fight a boss that's maybe somewhat difficult unless you power level. That's what this is supposed to be. It's for casuals like me. It's an easy game. Don't make things more difficult. That's my request to all the people out there considering making Musou games. Not that any game developers are listening to me ramble. Speaking of, I'm actually finding it very easy to ramble during this game, as I'm sure you've unfortunately noticed by now. With games like Dragon Audit, which, by the way, I still can't wait for that to be officially released, it's harder because I have to focus a lot more, and there's a lot of reading, and I'm trying to learn what's going on. But this is just, like I said, I'm a big fan of these kind of games, and also Zelda, so everything here is a very familiar formula. Even though they did change up the controls, that tree fell down, that's cool. They changed up some of like the character attacks, and they keep making me want, or they keep telling me that I need to use some extra sub-items. For the most part, it's the same game, it's what I'm used to, so it's not terrible. Are these dragons? No, they're not. They're just something else. Okay, that didn't really do anything, so cool, I guess. Sorry, I'm not bored of the game. I'm just naturally yawning all the time because that's what we do now. Apparently I'm old and I yawn. Okay, so this is a key. Why? This is one downside of I mean, it's the Musou formula in general, but I seem to notice it a lot in the Hyrule Warriors games. Is that you'll get into a base, and if you're doing fairly well and control a lot of the battlefield, you spawn more soldiers for your side. And so when you come into a keep like this, your soldiers are already here and killing everything. And because the games can only animate so many sprites on the screen at once, you see a lot of your soldiers, not a lot of enemies to fight. So taking these keeps actually takes longer because you have so many people, because it's not animating any enemies. As you see when I walk around, you're only seeing 2 or 3 enemies in the background. That's not ideal. You know, if you have no soldiers in here and it just animates enemies, you'll see dozens, and you can take over a keep in literally seconds. Whereas when you have enemies, it's not, or when you have allies rather, they kind of overwhelm the animation and the processor, and you just don't get any targets. So that's annoying. It's a very minor complaint, and it's just a hardware limitation. There's nothing anyone can do about that. But it's an annoyance nonetheless, and something you should probably be aware of if you've never played the game and are going to. Again, I know no one's watching this channel to make purchase decisions, so it's not like I'm telling you anything you need to know or care to know. The only person watching this is probably my eventual stepdaughter, and so she doesn't really care anyway. She's not making any purchasing decisions. She's 11. But I'm just gonna keep talking because I like talking, especially about so I need to finish taking this. Let's get there. We go. Stuff I can break. Now things feel right in the world. Oh, and I think I've finished powering up my flame wand. I don't remember the controls to use it because they've made them way more complicated now. But powered it up, so that's a thing. Yeah, that's another thing. Sorry, another yawn. Holy crap! In the other game, you could select different weapons that you had in your arsenal, like your hookshot, your boomerang, your bow, etc. And you could switch behind them with left and right, and then use whichever one you had selected. And here, left and right don't do anything. And instead, it keeps telling me to hold right shoulder or left shoulder, and then use various items. So it looks like left shoulder is items, right shoulder is my tablet powers. I know at least that much from Breath of the Wild. Okay, well, judging by the map, I need to go toward the only remaining outpost. Oh, and there's a microphone down there. I don't know why it's a microphone, but that's probably a boss I have to kill. So let's go kill it. That'll be fun. New objective. Is it kill that guy? I bet it is. Oh, it's actually not. Let's ignore that guy and go kill other things. Okay, cool. Give orders. Hey, that's another thing you can do in the game. Yeah. I know, I got it. Just stop. Thank you. Basically, and this is very different than the other screen in the old game, but when you have multiple playable characters in one session, I keep looking at the laptop when I go to look at the camera. Sorry, things are weird. When you have multiple playable characters in a session, whichever ones you're not playing as, you can give an order and tell them, hey, go take over this particular base, or fight this particular boss, or do whatever it is I'm telling you to do. And then they'll presumably go do it. The AI is not always the best in these games, especially these games like Hyrule Warriors in specific. The AI in this is sometimes awful, but that's the idea anyway, is that they'll do what you told them to do. So that's what that screen is, and now you have it. Ah, that was not lock on, that was wasting item. Cool. Stop changing the controls, Nintendo! Okay. Could you come back onto the ground? Where I can actually reach you and fight you? That would be grand. Never mind, I can reach you. I'm fine. Oh, you have to trigger the weak point smash now. That's new. In the other game, if you reduced an enemy's weak point smash without killing said enemy, you reduce their weak point without killing them. It would automatically do a weak point smash, where you would get a little animation, Jesus Christ, and you would just decimate their life bar. It was just a thing that happened as a bonus for reducing their weak point. It was fun, and they no longer have that now. Now you have to press X to trigger the weak point smash, which is odd. I don't think that I needed that. I think I was fine just having it happen. This is not, like I've said before already, multiple times, this isn't really the type of game where you want complicated control schemes and all of that. This is really, for me, the way I've taken it and how I've seen other people play them, these games are really like the brainless stress release kind of games. You turn these on when you're tired of dealing with everything else in the world, and you just want to mindlessly murder everything. So I feel like adding multi-button commands and just complicated control schemes take away from that. It's making the game more complicated than anyone ever wanted it to be, or than it really needs to be. So that's unfortunate. I really still maintain that that was the wrong call on Nintendo's part. And again, they're not asking me for my opinion, so take that how you will. They seem to be doing fine without me, but I definitely think that could have been done better. Can I pick these up and throw them? No, but I can have the person hit it themselves. That's cool. I wish it wouldn't have hit me in the process, but cool nonetheless. Jesus, that's some range. use a staff. I'm not like Donatello. I just have one that I play with, and I occasionally light the ends on fire, and it looks pretty easy. People that don't know how easy it actually is. I also don't know why any of that commentary was necessary, but here we go. Hey, look, I can do that thing where I eat an apple. There, I used your weapons. Aren't you proud of me? I know, I did the thing. I'm learning. I can be taught. Where the hell is the guy in there? Oh god, God, what are you doing? Kill him, you small. That was unnecessary. Don't throw your kids at me, that's just rude. Also, did you just boot to the head me? This is not the Dr. Demento show, okay? Calm down with it. Also, I rarely get to make Dr. Demento with it, because that was awesome. Ah, the B button is never responsive enough! In your mid-move animation, you can't dodge. That's a problem that's afflicted me in the last game, too. Is that the animations don't want to be overridden. If it's doing something, you need to let it do that thing. Alright! I bet I should have taken that other keep first if I wanted like a little bonus. I bet that's the case. Yeah, I didn't take that. Okay, well, it was fun anyway. So I won't make you watch me play the whole game. I just want to do like a first impression, similar to what I did with the other one. And first impressions, it was good. There were some differences, mostly in the controls, which I know I harped on, but it really wasn't that bad. By the end of it there, I had already remembered that left was my items and right shoulder was my magic, which I never used, and honestly, unless it forces me to, doubt I ever will. But otherwise, it was alright. The lock-on really, that should have been different. That I'm still not a fan of, but I'm sure I'll get used to it over time. As far as the gameplay, it's kind of what you'd expect. It's a Musou game. You walk around, you murder lots of things. It's great fun. I will always enjoy that concept. I'm never going to turn one of those games down. And like I said, the art style, it's still not my favorite, but it didn't actually bother me as much here. I feel like a lot of the backgrounds were still more 3D-ish, and overall it didn't feel as hokey to me as Breath of the Wild did. I know that's blasphemy in the Zelda community to say, because everyone praises that game for reasons, I guess. But, I don't know, for me it felt weird. But here, it's not as bad, so I don't mind it as much. It's certainly not like Spirit Tracks levels of obnoxious, but I still would prefer if they just went, like, I want Twilight Princess art on a modern console. Just go full 3D, make it look pretty, render the whole thing on Unreal, just, let's go. But yeah, overall, I like it. I didn't get into the story as much. In fact, I kind of ignored everything he was saying because I was too busy talking to you. So I'll probably have to replay this level once the camera's off so I can actually get the story here, because I do love the story in Zelda games. But overall, it's fun. I enjoyed it. It was a good game. It's pleasant. Was. I didn't beat it. It is a good game. It's definitely fun. I'm sure I'm going to put a billion hours into this one, just like I did the last one. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to turn off this camera now and go play more of this game. And next time you see me, I'm actually going to play another new game, but it's going to be a shooter, which is something I would normally not do. So make sure to tune in for my suffering. Yay.